Welcome to VSB News Online for Friday, January the 2nd. I'm Charles Webb. If Bermuda fails to right its economic ship and has to turn for help to countries who would like to steal its international business, then it would soon see the carrion crows circling overhead, and it would be in serious trouble. This is the warning from Finance Minister Bob Richards as he prepares to return to London in February to face a hostile UK government.
Our ability to defend ourselves against this hostile environment depends on our financial independence. If we don't manage our finances properly in the government, and we have to go to one of those countries that is trying to either put us out of business or take our main business, if we have to go to those same people for financial aid, we're in real trouble. Yeah. And if people shouldn't think that that is off the wall or a situation that is highly unlikely. It is not highly unlikely.
That's what February is all about, isn't it?
That's correct. So it is our responsibility to push that particular possibility way aside because I was able to speak fairly forcefully about our position as it relates to this beneficial ownership thing. I was able to do that because the people who were pressuring us, I didn't owe them any money. But what if I did owe them some money? I meaning Minister of Finance, as Minister of Finance. What if I did owe them some money? I would not have been able to protect Bermudian interests or speak up for Bermuda the way I have been able to.
Well, back here in Bermuda, of course, you're hoping that your civil service will bear that in mind when it comes to asking them, are they going to help with the reducing their salaries again this year? Is that an important decision?
I think it is an important decision. I've been very pleased with the cooperation we've gotten from the civil servants and their unions so far. We're in talks with them now. Our talks haven't concluded, unfortunately. We would have liked for them to have by now, but they haven't. But I think everybody understands what the situation is. And so we just have to find a way forward. But the way forward has to be one that satisfies basically the dictates of the outside world. Gone are the days when Bermuda felt, Bermudians felt they could do what they liked and it didn't matter what the outside world thinks. Right now, we are really in a position where we have to meet certain standards that the outside world has set us. And if we don't, then there will be a price to pay that everybody in Bermuda will have to pay, not just civil servants.
Now, of course, you can't use the excuse, I'm just a cog in the machine, can you?
No, that was never true then and is not true now.
2014 saw the death of 15 people on our roads, and 2 days into 2015 has already seen the life of one 62-year-old man come to pass from a road accident. VSB's Adrian Smet has been looking at it all from the road statistics and has this personal view to share.
Years ago, before Facebook was even a thought, before the current year began with a 2, and before the seatbelt law was in effect, I was in a car accident. My younger brother had been asked in all of his 8-year-old cuteness to escort the ladies of my older sister's year group across the stage in a fashion show they were putting on as a fundraiser for their prom. He never made it to the stage. My mother, my brother, and I were driving along North Shore in search of Clark's Tuxedo Shop, a place we knew existed somewhere along the road but couldn't quite place in our mind's eye. My mom was driving, my brother had managed to get the front seat before I did, and I was sat in the back wishing I had the front seat. The next thing I knew, I was yelling at my mother to watch out because a car was coming full speed right for the windshield of our Toyota van. It was midday on a Saturday in May. Nothing special, but the driver was under the influence of alcohol and drugs and was driving far too fast. He struck the wall on his side of the road, bounced off, and flipped over into our windshield. He killed his passenger instantly. He injured my mother for life, and he's made me, over 15 years later, still a nervous passenger. Back then, these kinds of occurrences were rare. If you ask people, they tend to remember it. It was pretty gruesome, not just for the time, but in general. Today, we have accidents all the time. We might even see things and have little or no sympathy, assume they were driving without due care, and maybe, if even a little, think they deserved what they got. No one deserves to die. That sentence is not for us to make. But last year we had 15 road deaths. This year we already have 1. As of November, there were 779 injuries from 1,304 collisions. However, the famous statistic is now 15 resultant deaths. The most recent statistics we have are from November, and as of that point, 376 of those 1,304 collisions were due to inattention, and there were 53 arrests regarding impaired driving. The statistics are really staggering, and when December's results come in, I'm sure it'll be even worse. But the main question is, what is it going to take for us to slow down? How many lives are enough for all of us to realize what is happening? For all of us to put down our phones and distractions and drive safely? The Premier summed it up nicely in a statement of condolences today by saying, "The seriousness of this situation is underscored by the fact that if 15 members of our community had succumbed to other circumstances, like disease or gun violence, we would term it a crisis." For VSB News, I'm Adrienne Smatt.
Looking back through the 100-odd interviews he obtained from parliamentarians during the past year, VSB News parliamentary reporter Brian Darby lit upon the comments he obtained from opposition leader Mark Bean following government's presentation of the plan to hold the America's Cup. In presenting it again, here is one of the most meaningful comments. Our reporter suggests these words will come back to haunt us during the next 3 years.
You will not find us providing unwarranted criticism over this event. We will do what we can to assist the government, and naturally we would like to see the benefits redound to everyone in this country. And I will just say this, that the people of this country have to be willing to work, and you have to be willing to participate, not necessarily looking for permission from anyone, not the Premier, not David Dodwell. If there is money going to be circulating, then Bermudians and residents of this country have to take it upon themselves to do all that you can to legally get money out of our gas pockets during the next 3 years. Do it. Do not ask for permission. Just do it. Okay? Because everyone else is just doing it. No one else is asking for permission. And so I would say to everyone in this country who are asking, how can we benefit? Well, you have to determine how you're going to benefit.
Don't sit back.
Don't sit back. Don't expect the government to consider, even for a moment, how it can translate to everybody. Their cup's going to be full, and as you can imagine all the glitter and gold around it, they might be a little distracted too.
Minister of Home Affairs Senator Michael Faith takes some comfort in the success that has followed the holding of public and private career fairs in the past year. He shared some of his thoughts with me on the subject.
We hear lots of different stories, and certainly in no way dismissing it. But what's important, and I say this repeatedly, is that if people are feeling that they're not getting the opportunities that they deserve, they should bring that to the attention of immigration or workforce development. Unfortunately, what happens a lot of times, you hear things, but then no one really actually comes forward with the facts, or there's different reasons that you're not being told. Generally, we get it right. You'll recall that it was this government that put in place the recruitment disclosure requirement of employers, so that they have to actually disclose the Bermudians that they interviewed and give reasons to the department why they didn't hire the Bermudian.
Right.
It wasn't just enough to say, we didn't get Bermudians or whatever. They actually have to list that, and if they tell an untruth, then they can be fined.
Right.
And so that's actually quite important. I think that process is working well. It gives the board and me an opportunity to really see what's going on out there. And you know, in fairness, sometimes you'll see the same person applying again and again and again, but that person might not even have the minimum qualifications. So the message that we want to continue to bring, and we'll continue to do that this year through the ministry, is get qualified, get skilled up, upskill. We put it in the national training plan. We've laid out in that national training plan those categories that we believe are the future, and that national training plan part 2 will explain how you can get there. And follow those plans. They're there for a reason. Apply for positions when you go away to university, when you go and think about the courses you're going to do. think about the kinds of positions that are going to be available to when you come back. It's not acceptable, in my view, for people to simply go away and say, well, I want to have a forensic psychology degree, when maybe there's a requirement for one in the whole of Bermuda. Whereas in fact, we need accountants, we need nurses, we need chefs, we need butchers, we need a lot of these positions to be filled by Bermudians.
Now, the Princess had this careers day, and they had about 300 at the time I went, they had 300 applicants for 150 jobs. Is workforce development looking at the overflow of those people to see what they can, what areas they can place them?
Yeah, we normally, we have done it for the last 2 years, and I know workforce development is working on it again. We do a hotel careers fair day through workforce development with the Bermuda Hotel Association. I'm sure that we'll do another one this year. So whilst Princess does theirs, and no doubt they will participate in the one that we put on. Again, when people make the applications, if they're unsuccessful, they should come and register with workforce development so that we have an understanding of what is out there, who's out there, and what requirements are out there.
Local nutritionists and dietitians will not be surprised to learn that the residents of Bermuda consume more meat per capita per day than any other country in the world, beating out former meat-eating champion Argentina in the 2011 statistics just released by the National Geographic. The Bermuda stats indicate that we each, on average, consume 573 calories of meat daily, 3 calories ahead of Argentina, and 149 more than the residents of North America. The meat products include beef, pork, chicken, sheep, and goat. Cholesterol-conscious and economic turndowns have led to a decline in the global consumption of beef, but chicken has maintained its popularity, and it is thought that this is why Bermuda leads the pack. In fact, only 2 other countries find themselves in the 500-plus category, with Bermuda and Argentina, and they are New Zealand and Finland. Controversy ends the Friendship Trophy. 2 others win titles on New Year's Day, and Junior Golf Tournament concludes. These stories and more in our latest sports package with Earl Baisden.
Well, the Dandytown Hornets are the 2014-15 Friendship Trophy champions for now. This after they defeated Robin Hood 4-3 at the National Sports Center yesterday. Damon Ming gave the Dandytown Hornets the lead in the 25th minute when he converted from the penalty spot. An own goal 3 minutes later gave the Dandytown Hornets a 2-0 lead. In the 37th minute, Ajon Smith scored from a Clay Darrell cross that would make the score 3-0 to the Dandytown Hornets, but before the crowd could settle down, Robin Hood substitute Liam Evans scored from 10 yards out to pull them within 1 as the Dandytown Hornets took a 3-1 lead into the break. 4 minutes into the second half, Antoine Russell pulled Robin Hood within 1 when he scored from just inside the box. And then in the 54th minute, the scores were level when Russell headed in from close range. With the match evenly balanced, Ming would score what proved to be the winner for the Dandytown Hornets in the 83rd minute with a left-footed shot from the edge of the box, handing Dandytown Hornets the trophy. However, as the game was ending, it was clear that something was wrong, with Bermuda Football Association officials huddling together discussing an issue. In the end, the Dandytown Hornets will more than likely lose the Friendship Trophy they won on the field in the boardroom. Then BFA officials receive an official protest from Robin Hood. What is in question is that the Dandytown Hornets made a second-half substitution, bringing on Kevin Hurdle to replace Clay Darrell. However, Hurdle's name was never included on the Dandytown team sheet, thus making him an ineligible player. It is expected that the Bermuda Football Association will make an official announcement in the coming days. Meanwhile, the Shield Final saw Devonshire Colts crowned champions, this after a 3-1 victory over Young Man Social Club. Young Man Social Club took the lead in the 40th minute when Jarazino Simmons scored, but 5 minutes later the scores were level when Lisandro Simons found the back of the net. The 2 teams went to the break with a score of 1-1. Simons would put Devonshire Colts ahead 2-1 when he found a bit of space in the box in the 65th minute. And then in the 85th minute, Simons would complete his hat-trick when he scored from close range, earning Devonshire Colts the 3-1 victory. Southampton Rangers are the 2014-15 Premier Development Christmas Tournament champions, following their 3-1 win over the PHC Zebras. Shannon Burchell gave the Southampton Rangers the lead in the 4th minute. He then doubled that lead in the 44th minute as Southampton Rangers took a 2-0 lead into the halftime break. Ryan Hassel pulled a goal back for the PHC Zebras in the 51st minute, but Shakai Swan restored the Southampton Rangers 2-goal lead, making the final score 3-1 with Southampton lifting the trophy. The 2014 Aon Banfield Fecchio Cup concluded at the Port Royal Golf Course, with Walker Campbell winning the 16-18 age group Blue Division title after a third and final round 76 for a 3-day total of 232. Elizabeth Parsons finished second, 17 strokes back. Parsons shot a third round of 77 and had a 3-day total of 249. Sam Waymeyer finished in third with a 3-day total of 262 after a third round score of 84. The battle in the 13-15 age group white division saw Alex Mason win by 7 strokes over Michael Ming. Mason shot a third round 77 to finish with a 3-day total of 243, while Ming's 3-day total of 250 was scored after his third round 86. Dakota Lamb shot 78 to end the day in third with a 3-day total of 255. Kenny Lejour comfortably won by 27 strokes in the open red division. After recording a third round 81, he had a 3-day total of 245. Alex Witters Clark finished in second after shooting a round of 90. He had a 3-day total of 272, and Joe Watson finished in third following a third round of 93 and a 3-day total of 279. Elizabeth Parsons won the ladies division with a score of 249, with Vanessa Chichern finishing in second with a score of 314. The Bermuda motocross racing season continued with New Year's Day action at the Motorsports Park in the East End. Jonas James won the 50cc class on the day with a win, a second place, and a third place finish. Rajay Witter finished second. Witter had a bit of a spill in a corner and hurt his knee, but was able to come out and win the final race of the day. This after picking up a win in the first race. And Demiza Trott finished in third. Lazai Otterbridge recorded 2 wins and a third place finish in the 65cc class. Moses Johnson finished second after finishing second 3 times, and Jaden Simmons finished third 3 times. In the B class, Zico Majors won all 3 races, while Izara Matthew, the only other competitor in the class to finish all 3 races, finished the day in second place. Kenny Matthew and Chikai Smith finished 2 races each, while Tariq Bell competed in 1 race on the day. Harness pony racing season continued at the National Equestrian Center on VSB Street in front of a large crowd on New Year's Day. During Heat 11, Tea Time with Jeremy Miller in the bike won the 110-4 to 112-4 time bar class, while Colonel Cyclone with Maurice Rayner in the bike finished second. Heat 12 was the 106-1 to 107-1 time bar class that saw Colonel's Maestro with Lucas Bridges in the bike cross the line first. GV Special Dream and David Burrows Jr. finished in second. And Final Notice with Steven Cardozo in the bike finished in third. The 3-year-old first stake race of the day saw Pocket to Gold with Dale Miller in the bike cross the line first. Inward's Generation and Casey Trewin finished in second. And A Touch of Red with Ryan Manders finished in third. Teammates, friends, and family of the late Stephen Edwards gathered at the Summersfield Academy School field for a rugby match in his honor. Former Teachers rugby player Edwards was pronounced dead on December 31st after being involved in a bike accident. In the match between Teachers and the rest, the Teachers ran out winners 38-12. The Teachers got 2 tries from Micah Parazzi and Padraig O'Shaughnessy, while Antonio Parentchief and Tag O'Shaughnessy added a try each. Tag O'Shaughnessy kicked 2 conversions, with Antonio Parentchief, Simon Edwards adding a conversion each. Darren Huey and Roy Dublin scored a try each for the rest, with Trey Stevens kicking a conversion. I'm Earl Baisden reporting for VSB Sports.
Looking at the weather for Saturday, January the 3rd, there will be sunny periods with 1 or 2 showers, winds north-northwesterly, light to moderate, veering northeasterly in the afternoon, increasing east-northeasterly, moderate in the evening, veering fast southeasterly overnight. We are expecting a high near 72 Fahrenheit and a low near 65 Fahrenheit. Thanks for watching VSB News Online for January the 2nd. I'm Charles Webb.